I am joined now by City Councillor for Ward 8 in Saskatoon, Scott Ford. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeremy.
Thank you for coming on today. We are going to talk every city councillor's favorite subject, and that's budget. Deliberations are going to begin in November. This will be your second go-round at it. And we got an update from city administration last week. Another year of difficult decisions to be made. What are your thoughts as we gear up for these difficult decisions?
Right. Yeah. So last week we actually did some in the finance meeting. There, administration brought forward the 2026-2027 business plan and budget options, and it's basically a ranking of items that they feel we need to look at and a price on each of those items. They had some recommendations, but they also had a list of 28 other potential items that have a price tag to them. And it's just good planning. We're going to go into a 2-year budget cycle. And in June, administration brought forward that taxes, we're looking at a 9.9% increase for 2026 and a 7.34%. Right now, we're just doing our due diligence and collecting information on what our items are and what the price tag on those items are. We also looked at the 2026 to 2035 major capital funding plan, which includes some funding for big ticket items. And those would be like the Eastview Leisure Center, fire halls, bus purchases, Archibald Arena, and Harry Bailey upgrades, those types of items. So in good planning, you actually gather all the information, you look at what you need and what those items cost, and then you start to look at what your municipal tax is going to be. And in our case, we're doing the good planning right now. We've already, administration originally said 9.9 and 7.3. We've asked them to go back to the drawing board to reduce those, but from 2 to 5%. So they're looking at that. But, they're also, the one thing that we noticed is inflation and population growth in Saskatoon. Our tax ratio and our tax basis isn't keeping up with inflation. Things cost more. 3 years ago, a city bus used to be $800,000. Now it's 1.4 million. Like those types of things. Everything, and that's just in 3 years. So, definitely we need to look after our core assets and infrastructure, and community safety has always been a big ticket item that everybody wants to focus on. So we're looking at all those, but in good planning, you also look at what's everything on the table. And then you go through that list and determine what we can afford in this next 2-year budget cycle, and you plan accordingly. So, it is, I'm really pleased by the great job that administration is doing to inform council of all the different items that are on the list, all those capital projects. There's some big ones and there's some small ones, and then we have to go through that list and see what we can afford.
Now, your ward was the most contested, Ward 8, in the last election. I'm sure while campaigning, you must have heard concerns about annual large tax cuts. This is becoming a regular thing. What was it that you told residents at the time when you were trying to get elected? And has that changed now that you see the reality of it from within City Council?
It hasn't changed. And actually in 2025, as everyone knows, the original tax proposal was to go over 8%. And we actually, City Council actually pushed that down to 4.95%. So we did listen to the residents that they said we need to really focus on taxes. And the big item, the big thing with my residents is they want to focus on core infrastructure items. What are the core services of the city? And community safety was again one of those other items that my residents were interested in, and I think it's no different than all the other wards of the city. And those are the areas which I'll be focusing on in this next budget cycle for 2026-2027.
Okay. Hey, it's going to be interesting. We look forward to your hard work. Thank you for your service, and we'll see what comes out of it over the next couple of weeks and months.
Yes. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.